Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Health Transformation Stories. I hope you're all staying well in the midst of what we're experiencing in our nation today. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, I'm continuing to share these stories, and today my guest will be talking about her journey of finding peace with food and how she discovered a way to change her mindset to where food no longer controls her. So, if this is your first time tuning in, my name's Elaine Dusetzina. I started this show a couple of years ago because I wanted to share this incredible stories of women who have made changes in their lifestyle to take back their health, to transform their health and their well being. And it's my hope that you would be inspired to do the same. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my guest. My guest today is Benny Gallo. Benny, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here to be able to share my story. So thank you.
Yeah. So Benny is a mom of two. She is also a fitness coach, and her story pretty much have inspired, I mean, her transformation have inspired her to help other women find a healthy balance without restrictions. And she's also have self-published it's a fitness journal, and or I'm excited to talk to you about that later. But you can find her on Instagram. She's active on Instagram at Benny underscore health underscore fitness. Is that's right, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure I did that correctly. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and jump right into your story, starting from when it all started, and I from reading it, it sounds like it started back when you were young.
It did. Yes. I was 12 years old actually when I started my fitness journey. I was always overweight. So, and being growing up in elementary school, just being overweight and having two sisters that were very slim, it was very difficult. It was very difficult. And when my brother got married, my sister in law helped me start my fitness transformation. And I'm so grateful for her because I just fell in love with fitness at a very young age. I was, growing up, I was teased for being overweight, and it was very difficult. And I obviously would hide my emotions. I didn't know what, being healthy was or how to even start. So when my sister in law helped me, she taught me how to exercise and how to eat a balanced meal. I would still eat, everything my mother fed us, but she taught me how to just cut off portions and just, pick and choose different items from my plate, which really helped. And I fell in love with doing aerobics. So I used to do an hour aerobics every day, and I just started seeing results. And that was so satisfying, and my self-conscious just got better, and it was a great feeling to be able to just feel in control at some point, even though I was so young. It put me in a good place at a young age.
Mhm.
So that's where it all started at the age of 12, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah, so yeah, you started. That is young. It's hard
Yes,
to have to be compared to siblings, right? Sounds like you have a big
it is.
family. Coming from a family of four, is that right?
Yes, I have two sisters, a brother, and my parents. So
Hmm.
it was six of us,
Yeah,
and it was difficult. It wasn't easy being the kind of like the outcast, but
right. Yeah, but once your brother got married and your sister-in-law kind of took you under her wing, and
yes,
this was when you were 12, right? So
I
you're
was 12.
becoming a
Yes.
teenager,
Hmm.
and from what you learned from her, you just kind of like took that and went with that, and how that helped you see some results. And
Yes.
I'm curious as to how long did that take for you, where you started seeing the difference?
It was I remember it was a summer break.
Mm.
I was going into eighth grade. So it was that summer break when I started. And I remember going back to school my eighth grade year, and I had already lost over 30 pounds.
Mm.
So I mean, it was pretty quick. I lost weight. I saw the difference pretty quickly, but I was so committed. I
Mm-hmm.
was very committed, and having her there as the support group was so good for me. And she just motivated me every day. So I just kept pushing. So yeah, it was very quick.
Right. Yeah. So, 30 pounds later, you were committed, you're pushing yourself. And then what happened?
It spiraled from there. So, going into school and just, having that confidence and receiving those compliments from, the schoolmates and everything was great. But I think that made it harder on me, and I just wanted more. I wanted to I was like, okay, this feels great. I should probably lose more weight. And my goal back then was to be a size 0.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why, but so I just I got into really bad eating habits, and I started starving myself, eating one meal a day, just to try and get to that goal weight, goal size. And it was bad. I think I damaged my body during that time. I started off good and kind of just spiraled to, I guess, to please all the compliments I was getting.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you were, you said that you were getting all of this compliments, and oh gosh, that is kind of hard, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm getting compliments for the way I look now. Like, how much more compliments will I get if I
Yeah.
was, that size that you were aiming for at the time? And sounds like from maybe, I don't know, from maybe I'm just assuming that did you learn like that, like not eating at all will get you to that weight, or because you I guess in the beginning you did portion sizing, and
Hmm.
now just I guess decreasing that portion each time would get you to that size. Is that how
Yes.
you kind of thought
And
of it?
and my eventually my brother and my sister-in-law moved out, so I was
Mm.
kind of on my own, doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have anyone telling me you shouldn't do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Even though my parents would be concerned, I would just be like, I didn't care
Mm-hmm.
because I was getting the results I wanted. Um, so I just kept going because I was seeing the weight come off.
Right. And you didn't realize at that time that what you were doing was something that was, yeah,
I
yeah. And you
mean,
were young.
I was young, and I think when back in the 90s when I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
being a size 0 was the goal for every girl at
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I saw it very normal. I saw it
Right.
very normal to try and reach that.
Right. Yeah. And then later on in life, something happened that made you realize that something had to change.
Yes, at the age of 18, I got pregnant
Mm-hmm.
for my son. And till this day, I say he saved me. Um, so I was pregnant, and my doctor told me I wasn't gaining any weight. I was losing weight. And he was very concerned because by the time that I should have gained at least a couple pounds each month, and I wasn't. And I didn't know that what I was doing to myself at that time. I just knew I was pregnant, and I thought I was eating as I normally was before. So he recommended me to go see a nutritionist. So I was treating with her every week so that I can start putting weight on. And the nutritionist taught me, different foods and the amount of food I needed to be eating. And she asked me, I remember, asked me if I knew what anorexia was.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I had no idea. So, she explained to me what it was, and I realized what I was doing to myself. I had been hurting my body for so many years. And I'm just glad my doctor immediately noticed, obviously the weight loss I was getting, and had me treat with her, because I then, after gained the weight and was eating better, and I was able to bring in a healthy son into this world. But I feel bad till this day that maybe I could have done better during that time.
Well, yeah, gosh, it's things happen to us in a way where we realize, like, we are get that realization that things have to change. For you as your son, and that your doctor caught early enough to make that decision to send you to a nutritionist, and that you're able to have a healthy baby, um,
Mhm.
because of that. And so after your baby was born, what what took place? Did you continue with what the nutritionist has recommended for you, or how did that change the way you were eating?
So after my son, obviously, I knew I wanted to lose the weight and get to where I was. Not to where I was, but at a healthy weight. The nutritionist taught me a lot during that time. And, fitness and nutrition was part of my life since I was 12.
Mhm.
So I really dig deep into trying to teach myself and not do what I was doing before. I did eat better. I was eating better. I did lose the weight. And obviously, during that time, I also tried, shakes and diet pills and everything in the market. It was so
Mhm.
popular then, that I tried everything. But I never went back to try and lose weight by just starving myself, because I knew how much damage that was to myself and, future pregnancies that I wanted to have.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So, but it sounds like you found a different avenue to, like, with the diets, with the shakes, and did you say pills? I can't.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever was in the market, to the popular at the time. So part of it is still like your mindset was kind of like, I want to lose weight fast. Is that correct assumption, or?
I think the frustration just always got to me, and I was always willing to try the popular fad diet out there.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And so while you were looking, searching for different ways, what you found something along the way.
I did. I did. Social media was a big part of me discovering this new way of eating, and it was, if it fits your macros. I was following a young lady on social media that talked about macros all the time. And I was seeing the results she was getting and the meals she was posting, and she was eating everything. And I was like, well, that's what I want. That's what I need. So I reached out to her, and she told me about it, which I'm so grateful for, because it really changed the way I saw food. I immediately started tracking my own macros and incorporating food that I had never eaten before, like bread and rice and potatoes.
Mm.
So it just changed the way I saw food. And I feel like from there and forward, I just developed a healthy relationship with food again.
Yeah. So before you, sounds like you were avoiding certain types of food, but to the point where you're afraid of eating.
Yes.
Yeah. And and then you found if it fit your macros, which could you explain more what for those who don't know what it even means, like what macros even mean?
So macros is tracking your macronutrients, which is your carbs, your fats, and your proteins.
Mhm.
And for me, I was like, well, that was easy. That was easy. I could do
Mhm.
that. So you just have to identify what the calorie count is that your body needs. And I did so much research at that time because I was so interested. I wanted a permanent solution, long-term solution, I would say. And it just became so easy. And I fell in love with it. And I still do it now to this day.
Yeah. So how long ago was it since you?
This was back in 2014 when
Okay.
I started.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
And did you get a support system with doing that, or were you doing it on your own, or?
I started off on my own, and the girl I reached out to would help me if I had questions. She was so open to answering any questions. But this led me to want to learn more about it and educate myself, which led me to want to get a health coach certification
Mhm.
um, because I wanted to be fully educated. And that's where I learned so much about food and you know, making a long term healthy journey.
Mhm. Yes, making that change that you can commit to for a lifetime.
Yes.
And this is a way that it has worked for you, and it's good to, do the research, make sure that it's something that you can actually do for yourself for, I guess, for the rest of your life. And
hmm
and that's what you have found. And so
Yes.
now you're continuing to do that, and you find it easy to do, and you're doing great with it.
Thank you. I try my best every day.
Yeah.
It's
So,
it's it's difficult, but I think it's doable.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned it's difficult. That's where I was gonna uh, go towards, about challenges that you may have faced while changing into this type of like this style of eating, and then what type of challenges have you experienced, and how have you overcome those challenges?
I think changing into this new eating lifestyle was pretty easy because I didn't feel restricted. I felt that I had finally gained control. So that was the easy part. I think for me, the hardest part, the challenges I've faced, has been the moving, the changes in my life. I'm a military spouse of over 20 years. And I think picking up and going every 3 years was the hard part for me because you change your whole life and maintaining a strict or maybe staying on track was very difficult when you were either driving from location to location or living out of your suitcase in a
Hmm.
hotel. So that was always the hardest part for me.
Yeah, but along the way, it sounds like you learned how to make adjustments. And I know it's hard to, military spouses, and just having that military life of having to um, be constantly moving to different duty stations. It does interrupt your routine, and
Yeah.
just having to, once you get into your routine, it's time to move again.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's this the way you're doing it. It's you said this was an easy transition for you because before food was something that was controlling you, and then
Mhm.
now that it felt like you have more control of it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
that's great. Well, thanks for sharing that. It's, I like to ask, like, what advice would you like to share for someone who is going through some type of changes, and it doesn't, and maybe it could be related to someone who's experiencing the same
Mhm.
that you have experienced about, just like losing, like wanting to lose that weight. Um, is there any piece of advice you'd like to share?
I think the one advice that I can give someone, and that I think took me a long time to learn was, or identify, is the why. Why I was doing all this.
Mhm.
And I never understood it. I think I never took the time to analyze it, but it's something that I always tell someone. Identify why you want to do or transform yourself or jump into this new journey. Because I think if someone has a their why, enough reason to pursue this journey, it just makes them, I mean, stay on track or desire to continue their journey, even when you fall off the wagon or derail yourself a little bit. You know that that is what you want, and it allows you to jump right back on it.
Yeah, exactly. And you have done that. And I think I'm gonna guess your why is your family, or that one change in your life when you had your son, when he
Yes.
saved your life, and now you want to take care of yourself so you can take care of your family.
Yes, absolutely. I always tell my kids, and invoke them to follow a healthy lifestyle, and I try and teach them as much as I can, so to avoid making same mistakes I did.
Yeah, and you want to help other women now as well to make the same kind journey, to have that wellness journey, to take back their health. Um, and are you coaching now, or what are your plans?
I am coaching. I do one-on-one coaching, but I do plan on launching my very first program this summer,
Oh, great.
which I'm very excited for. And as you mentioned earlier, I did published my fitness planner early this year, which I'm very excited for. And I think with my journal and my program that I plan on launching this summer, I just want to be able to teach women to not be fear of food. That is one of my goals. If I can help one more person or another female to not make the mistakes I did and not let the food control them, mission accomplished.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I love that you published your own fitness planner, and that we can find that on Amazon. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can probably look it up, and maybe you can give me the uh,
The
the
link.
link for it, so I can put it in the show notes, and people can find where that fitness planner is available. So that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so exciting that you're going to start this program and help other women out, and definitely just helping one person, even if it's just one person that you can help, to make sure that they don't go through the same challenges as you have. And
Yes.
that's what health coaches do, is just trying to help as many people as we can to make those changes. So
Absolutely.
anyway, where can people find you? I've talked about Instagram. Is there any other way that they can get a hold of you if they have any
I'm
questions?
I'm also on Facebook. They can find me on Facebook, Benny's Health and Fitness, and as you mentioned, Instagram as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I hope you all stay well and tune in for next month's episode. Take care. Bye.
Bye.